Guys, it's a Q&A session, so you're supposed to ask me questions. Okay, so we have a first question. So I would like to clarify whether we need to specify the selected genres in stage 3 of the assignment, or is it acceptable to specify them in stage 4? I think either or is okay lah. I don't see a difference okay? Because at stage 3, you're supposed to convert it into a transactional data. And from there, basically, I think when you are converting it into a transactional data, before that, you already need to select which genre that you are analyzing already. So I think it's better for you to do at stage 3. Because by stage 4, you have already converted it. And then by that time, I don't think you can do any more changes after that. Next question. Should we remove columns contain mostly NA values? So this one is in regards to stage 2. Now, where does those NA values come in? You need to ask yourself this question. So if the NA values come in, let's say in under genres, do you think you should be removing it? You need to think about that, You really need to think about that. I know that by training in ETW2001, you can either impute information or remove them. But is it even wise for you to remove them? So you need to think of a justification here. All right, so you need to properly think about that. Is it actually important or is it not important? So you need to think about that. We cannot input values for missing values. Yeah, of course, you are not supposed to input any values, because that is why I removed the movie names from the data set, so that you don't input any values. That will be too much work. So yeah, you are not supposed to input any missing values. Like if you look at the genre section, all right, like we have like 6 genres over there, right? So some of them are actually having a lot of missing values. What does it mean that it has missing values? So you need to think about it. All right, you need to think about it. So this is actually one of the ways for me to tell you like how we can actually handle missing values. You need to actually slowly think about it. It's not always like one-way direction whereby you either remove it or you input. So it doesn't work like that all the time for real life data. Okay. Yes, basically you are right. You actually need to think about how you want to clear it out. All right. And the way you want to clear it out, you need to give me a good justification. I need to accept your story. All right. I need to accept your story. For stage 5, if we already transform the variables in stage 3, we have to do it again. Yes, you need to do it again, because when you are looking at what are the factors that contribute to a high revenue movie and what are the factors that contribute to a very popular movie, I think the characteristics should be different. And of course, by association rule, you should be removing things that are not too relevant for your topic of interest. So for example, when you look back at the Boston data set, we notice that a lot of our explanatory factors comes from the fact that those houses are situated very far away from the river. Chasm equals to 0. But is that a really relevant factor? So because that time it may not appear to be a relevant factor, so you can choose to remove that variable. So it depends on your analysis, you see. Like for example, when you are doing for demand for assignment task 1, you're not going to tell your friends like, oh, you should watch this movie because this movie make a lot of revenue. You're not going to recommend them like that. So some of the consideration of what are the things that can explain, that can potentially be associated with popular movie, or what are the things that are associated with popular movies, this might have some changes. So you need to think about that very carefully. Okay, so yeah, I'm encouraging you guys to think. We are not doing something that is too straightforward, you see. So the next question, we have to filter out those movies that include all three genres. So for example, it must be, or actually those movies that fall under one. Oh, so for this one, you should only select those with fantasy only. All right, select those with fantasy only. But this is where it becomes tricky. You have 6 columns of genres. Which one do you think you should be focusing on? So you need to think about that, okay? So you need to think about that. Analysis is not always straightforward, lah, unfortunately. It's a very alive thingy. So yeah. So yeah. I don't understand. We don't need to look at all 6 genres in the columns. So this is up to you to decide. All right, this is something for you to decide. Do you think it is logical to look at all 6 genres? So you need to decide and come up with a good justification for it. All right. So actually, if you want to do well for this subject, you just need to convince me that what you are doing is actually correct, and I need to agree with you. All right. I need to agree with what you are doing. Yes, you are supposed to analyze 3 genres based on your student ID. You are correct, but you're not going to put all 3 of them one go. So it's like, what are the things that explain high value houses? What are the things that explain low value houses? What are the things that explain mid value houses? Same thing here. What are the things that explain genre 1? What are the things that explain genre 2? What are the things that explain genre 3? Next question. So can I remove NA values before combining them? Because both sets have different numbers of NA values, and when what? Can I remove NA values before combining them? Because both sets have different number of NA values where the full row are NAs during stage 1. I don't understand your question. Yes, you are supposed to analyze the genre separately, like how you do it, like how we did it for houses, and also, yeah, how we did it for houses. Richard, you may need to rewrite your question. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm rewriting it.
Okay, next question. So for identify how many applicable unique values are present within the data columns, we should explain each variable. I don't get this question as well. What do you mean by identify how many applicable unique values are there? That I don't understand. For stage 2, do we need to explain our inclusion or not inclusion of NA or 0 values for each column? Yes, you need to explain that, okay? And what will you do with those 0 or NA values? Actually, if you understand how association rules is being done, this shouldn't be a question, right? This shouldn't be a question. Next question. So does that mean that we only need to filter out those movies that have only one genre? No, you need to focus on like let's say you're looking at fantasy. So genre one that has fantasy, genre two that has fantasy, genre three that has fantasy, so on and so forth. But then the next question is, are you supposed to do that? Okay, are you supposed to do that? If you are going to do all 6 types of genres for fantasy, and then fantasy is one, horror is one, and then the other one, let's say adventure is one. This is 18, or does it make sense for you to do 18? Is it even relevant for you to do 18? You see, you need to think about it. All right, you need to think about it. Unique values in each column. Like directors, this suggests a wide range of directors, indicating that there's a common diverse set of movies from different creative perspectives. Should we act? Oh, okay. So no, there are just 18,000 types of directors out there, which is kind of true, right? There are so many directors out there. So yeah, it is like in this store, it's like in a supermarket, there are 18,000 unique entries of items. It makes sense, what? From a transactional point of view. So we just have the output and we do not need to write in sentence to explain or state it again. Oh, so that means, let's say you look at directors, there are 80,000. So you just say there are 18,000 directors. That's it. Mm, just like that. There's nothing to, it's very straightforward. It's also common sense for me. How is that not common sense? I figure out the answer of my own question. Sure, no problem. So yeah, people. So when you are looking at at your genres, right? You need to think about it. Are you supposed to look at genre column one, genre column two, column three, column four, column five, column six? I give you six, what? Are you going to look at all of them? Does it make sense for you to look at all of them? If you think that it does not make sense, explain to me why do you think it doesn't make sense, and then you proceed with whatever you think that is correct. Okay? So as I said, this is something that you need to convince me to accept your answer. All right? I need to accept your answer. So for stage three, all right, stage three, basically, let's say you're looking for fantasy. So you need to filter out genres that contain fantasy. But one of the problems that you may encounter is that you have 6 columns of genres. Then my question to you is, are you going to look at all 6 columns of genre or not? Are you going to do that? If you're not going to do that, you need to explain to me why you shouldn't do that. Okay? You need to convince me. And then for stage 6, first you need to filter out what are the things that what is high rating, what is low rating, what is mid rating, and then tell me what are the things that are associated with high rating movies. That is number one. And then the next thing is what are the explanatory variables that is associated with high revenue movies. I thought we did a tutorial on houses that is already quite clear. Yeah, next question. So you understand my explanation for stage 6 and stage 3 or not? Okay. I don't think you guys are stuck. You're just overthinking things. Hey, when you filter out, like, you look back at your tutorial question, all right? We did filter out, let's say, for high value houses, correct or not? And then you see the item frequency plot for only high value houses is different from all houses. Right. Well, you put your name as dot lah, so correct or not, dot? Yes, exactly. There is no absolute correct answer. You just need to convince me that what you are doing is correct, and I need to buy your story. Because as I said, your interpretation is going to be different from your friends. Your data set is different, all right? The things that you look at is different, all right? So it's a very subjective thingy. So you need to be creative. And your creativity must be something that I can accept. Okay, you need to convince me to accept your creativity. Unsupervised learning is not supposed to have correct answer lah. There is only acceptable interpretation and not acceptable interpretation only. Present our priori so you see when you present your a priori algorithms, right? When you do the inspect function, you are going to get more than 3 lines, right? You just need to explain like around 3 lines can already. You're not going to explain everything one. Just explain 3 lines or 3 lines from the a priori output, and then see from those 3 lines can you like create new information. Let's say like what I did in tutorial, right? I try to see these three factors. Do they actually explain, are they a super rule or are they a redundant rule, for example? That is what we did for the diabetes one. You can recall back the diabetes one. Like, why do I select these 3? Because I think these 3, they appear quite common in most of the rules. And then it's also part of the item frequency table as well. So I want to see whether these three factors are really associated with diabetes. You must have all 3, or is it you just have any 2 will do? So if I must have all 3, then the simpler rule, the one that only has 2 items in it, that is a redundant rule. But if let's say if I have all 3 of them and then the support is smaller compared to if I only have 2 of them, then the one that is having the one that has little stuff one, that one is called a super rule. So you can revise back on the super rule and redundant rule thingy lah. I think I make quite a clear distinction. And yes, you need to analyze the 3 genres separately. You are right. So I expect minimum at minimum 9 no? 3 times 3 what? 3 genres and then 3 rules, so that will be 9 over there. Then if you analyze all 6 genres, this is 54 lah. You think it makes sense to do 54, then you must do it all. All right. Would NA or zero values affect support or confidence value? Okay, so we go back to our Boston data set. You remember for the Boston data set, right? One of the more prevalent factor is the river thingy, chasm equals to zero. So chasm equals to zero means that this house is situated very far away from the river. Do you think that that was actually helpful when it comes to explaining why these houses is belonging to high category, why these houses is belonging in mid category, why is this belonging to why is it belonging to low category? It is not, correct or not? So that is why we can consider to remove chasm from our analysis, because it's not helpful in telling us any differences. It is not helpful. But then again, you have 6 genres. How many should you remove? Why should I listen to you? You need to give me very good, solid reason. Next question. Then we have to have 3 relative item frequency plot for each genre and explain them, each of these genres, and then compare them. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. That is the point. It's the essence is the same thing. You see, the essence is the same thing. Just that for assignment task 2, you are very simple. You just look at revenue and then you just separate into high revenue, mid revenue, low revenue, high target votes, low target votes, and then mid target votes. That one is very easy. But when it comes to genre, because you have 6, so you need to think about how you want to handle it. So it's a little bit different. Okay? So we are allowed to filter out columns or remove observations like those with 0 revenue values as long as we justify. Yes. And I need to agree with you. You need to convince me that what you're doing is right. For the stage 2, basically, we just need to do for genres and no need to choose for other variables because it's not logic. Stage 2 is to prepare the master data set, correct or not? Yeah, so there you need to, stage 3. So for stage 3, basically, we just need to do for genres and no need to choose other variables because it's no logic. So you need to select genre first, all right? You need to focus on genre first, and then what are the other factors that you think is useful for you when it comes to recommending a movie? Like as I said, when you're recommending people to watch a movie, you're not going to tell them, oh, this movie is very good because it earns a lot of revenue. You think people give shit about that? No, right? Actually, you should be joining them in such a way that you don't lose too much information. Which join you should use? This one is from your ETW2001. Okay. I'm not doing that revision here. Hey, again, people, you need to think about the things that you are supposed to do, okay? I'm not going to be in your entire analytical life, okay? So some of the things you need to decide on your own, all right? And you need to learn. Will it be hard to get good marks? This is the first time I do this assignment. This is the first time this assignment appears in Monash campus in Malaysia. So I don't have anything to fall back to, so I have no idea. Okay? Even I myself is in autopilot mode lah. But as I said lah, the basis for good marks is I need to buy your justification. I need to agree what you are doing. Basically, you can do anything you like, but I need to agree with you. If I do not agree with you, then yeah, you just lose marks from there. But yeah, I'm a very agreeable person. And if let's say you feel that I may not entirely agree with you, you can always find references to support your claim. All right, you can always find references to support your claim. All right, it's just as simple. Is it when an assignment is more flexible, people have more problems? That's a bit weird. Yeah, definitely. There are, you see how many people here? I have 100 students, but there's only like how many people here? Oh, of course I will be uploading it. Any more questions? The rest? You'll figure that suddenly my assignment is not good for last minute. Because it looks like it's very big. No, definitely no. I'm not going to do so many Q&A. Next week, I need to begin marking for my other assignments. I'm CE for 2 subjects, you know. Not hard. It's just that you guys are not used to thinking. What's the code to check the combination of items with the highest support of confidence? I can't seem to find. Oh, just use the inspect DT. Use this inspect DT, and then you can do the sorting there. Inspect DT, this one. Then you can adjust, you can sort it automatically based on higher support, lower support. All right. Inspect DT. This one. Any more questions? Bit confused for the sentence. For interval values, clearly state how you divide your data based on desired value or percentiles and provide simple justification of it. Yeah, so like that time, right, when we are looking at income, what is housing values. So how do we decide to split them? How do we decide to split them? So if let's say the housing value is higher than 67 percentile, then I say this is high value. Low one will be lower than 33. 33 to 67, this one I all considered it as mid lah. So just tell me what you're doing lah over there. Understand? First time do Zoom in a gym, man. First time do Zoom in a gym. Any more questions? So the plot is one plot for one genre. Yes, you are right. One plot for one genre. Why do we need to find the number of unique values in each column for stage 2? That is the question that you're supposed to think about. That is the question that you're supposed to think about, not me. Yes, any more questions? All columns have NA values or zero values, which doesn't make sense. But if we remove all of them, we lose all the data. But if you keep them, it will affect my analysis. That's why use. Actually, do you remember? Am I supposed to answer this? Because yesterday that guy also asked me, then I didn't answer him. Wait, let me think if I should answer this question. Yeah, like first of all, as what you mentioned, like all columns is going to have some form of NA value, correct or not? And then if based on what you learn in ETW 2001, and then you remove all of them, you are you are finished because you don't have any more data left, right? That is number one. And number two, sometimes, like for example, right, revenue, those are all numbers, correct or not? So, and then numbers in the end, you're going to convert it into categorical variables, correct or not? Why don't you create a separate categorical variable that says this has no reported value? Because either way, you're going to convert it into category, right? Why can't you create a separate category, say that it has zero report, it did not report any revenue, and see if it actually matters? Because everything is categorical for numbers, correct? And then will it have an association with doing some in explaining some correlations? We do not know. That's why you need to check. Those are for zero values. Then what about NA values? That one you need to think of for your own, okay? I'm not going to talk about that. I think I talk about the zero values is enough already. It's already a hint already, all right? So can we do cross recommendation for genre? Like someone who like genre A can also. Oh, that is something that you can do. That is something that you can do. Actually, well, I don't see that. Maybe you are slightly Okay. So your question is, can we do cross recommendation for genres? Correct or not? So that means, what happen if, let's say you're focusing only. Wait. This one is answer. This one is an answer. Oh, this one is an answer. Wait. Oh, this is not a. There is no way for me to answer it. Oh, I want you guys to think a little bit more independent, but yeah, you can actually do cross recommendation. Yeah, that is an answer. Sorry, but you can do cross recommendation. Okay, you can do cross recommendation for sure, no problem. Like for example, like this person likes to watch Avenger. Who knows, deep down, this person also maybe like to watch fantasy, right? Because Avenger and fantasy looks like they are related, for example. But how are you going to show that? How are you going to show that? So that is a totally different thing because you can only show for. I shouldn't talk so much. I shouldn't talk so much. I think you get the idea already. I don't want to talk so much. I don't want to talk so much. That one is that one is too dangerous. Okay. But you are on the right track, lah. You are on the right track. Okay. And yeah, it definitely makes sense. Like people who watch Avenger may tend to watch fantasy also. The genres I gave yeah, like people who watch comedy also tend to watch fantasy together. Okay. Mm. And then say if for other variables like production company and main cast, they only have really support scenes due to their many variety but high lead value. So it might be used to that. Yeah, you are right. You are right. May You are right. I almost gave another comment. So yeah. Ah, actually, okay. I just give like production is one thing. Main cast also could be another important thing. All right, main cast could be an important thing. So there is bound to be some main casts that are more outstanding than the rest of them. There is bound to be such a correlation there. Okay. And then I think I also gave you a variable for release date or something, right? There is a date, right? For the date, it's separate. It has the release day, the month, and the year. Based on different years, maybe you can do something, right? Like if these people like to watch comedy movie, like I'm born in an era whereby Stephen Chow is the thing, and I definitely like Stephen Chow movies. Stephen Chow movies all come from the 1990s to 2000. His golden era. So you can think about that. Okay. Sorry for this dumb question. You know it's a dumb question, huh? But why do we need to convert variables? Well, this is really a, are you listening to me in class? No wonder you say you will fail. How can you even ask this question? Like, if you don't convert your variables into factor or category, like transactional data cannot run because originally a priori algorithm is applied to see when you purchase one item, what is the likelihood that you will purchase another item. So items are categories, they are not numbers. Okay. My goodness. So do we need to relate our frequency plot to the rules that we found? No, not necessarily. But you can use your frequency plot to help you find out, like, because you see what I did in the solutions, right? For diabetes, what I did was I look at item frequency plot first, and then based on the item frequency plots, I find like two or three rules that are related to the item frequency plot. And then from there, I use it to construct my super rule and redundant rule explanation. That's what I did. So yeah, you can have that relationship. Wow, this Q&A 45 minutes already. Yeah. Hey, any more? Any more? I'm so glad initially when I designed the assignment, I decided to put 4 genres, then I reduced to 3. So glad I did that. Because I'm not sure how big is big, how small is small. Okay, so if no more question, I assume, then we stop here. All right. Can we stop here? Any more burning questions? So the rest of you just come here to listen only, right? Can no problem. Or you all don't know how to ask. All right, so if that is all, thank you for coming. Hope that I clear most of your doubts. Okay, I also indirectly already told you guys like some hints already. I think I gave too much hints. Okay, so yeah, which originally I think I shouldn't. Okay, but yeah, but it's already done. So okay, so